Hi everybody and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name is Rob Evans and I'm your weight loss coach, health strategist and internationally published author, helping take your life and your business, health, fitness, mindset and body from where you are right now to where it is that you truly want to be. And today, for the first time in a while, I'm actually recording this in my studio. I'm not in the car, not actually traveling in to see my daughter in the hospital today, who's still in there. Because my tummy is a little bit upset. I don't think it's anything to do with gastro or anything like that. I do think it's to do with something that maybe I ate yesterday, not quite sure what, but something that's maybe not sitting quite right with me. And I don't want to take the risk of going into hospital and potentially having some gastro stuff and going into a hospital environment where people are fragile and potentially passing that on. So just being sensible about it. So it's given me an opportunity to stay at home, get a few things done, and record this to you in the studio. And today I wanted to talk to you about planning, because if nothing else that COVID has taught us is that we must be planning, and we need to consistently and constantly plan. Maybe prior to COVID, you didn't have a business continuity plan, a disaster recovery plan, or that kind of thing in place for you and your business and your family, so that we've been thrown into this in the real deep end, and maybe some of you have really struggled to cope with it. Certainly, it's a global pandemic. None of us could have ever predicted that this was going to happen in the way that it has and have an impact in the way that it has, and how long it will go for. And it's a reminder that we've got to always be on our toes. We need to make sure that we consistently plan for what's going on around us. And if certain scenarios happen, how are we going to manage that? Now, I used to manage business continuity plans for a contact center that I was working in, and we had over 600 employees. And the work that I did was then used as a basis to roll out that same methodology throughout the whole organization. So it would be interesting if we were back in that environment now as to the things that they put in place and how they enacted their business continuity plan. I mean, that was talking about things like emergency backups, a whole new call centers, staff outages, disruption to power supply, all of that kind of stuff. Whereas today, with the technology is a little bit different and better than when I worked in the environment, because we can allow people to more freely work from home with the technology, with some switches and that kind of stuff. But if the technology fails, then there's issues there as well. So today we're in lockdown still here in Victoria. And when they announce a lockdown, there's always a risk that it will go on for far longer than they first indicate. And at the start of this particular lockdown, which they said would be 7 days, my thinking was it was going to be at least 30. And we've gone we're into our second week now. So at the end of last week, at about day 6, they said it will be extended for another 7 days. I still think we're looking at 30 plus days. Today we had an extra rise in cases. To put it in perspective, it's 11 right here. Now some people have, in some countries, have way more than that, but it's 11 for us, which is considered significant given that we've had pretty much single digit numbers for the last couple of weeks. And so what they're trying to do is completely eradicate it and make sure that people are isolating, and there's zero community transmission. Not that there's zero COVID cases, it's just that they're in quarantine or isolating, whatever. But when there's 11 more community cases that are coming out, then obviously that sparks some real issues for people where's this coming from? And they don't necessarily know where it is yet. And it's they're calling it the Delta variant that has come out from India. So it creates this atmosphere for us that there's a lot of uncertainty. What are we going to do? Now, this is where the plan comes into play, because if you've planned effectively, that saying about hope for the best, plan for the worst, you've really got to do that. You absolutely must make sure that you know what's going to happen if you are forced to be locked down, or another scenario that comes your way. You've got to have a plan for it. With our very first lockdown here some 15 months ago, I created this COVID 90-day strategy because my anticipation in that first lockdown, even though they said, I think it was supposed to be 30 days, maybe something like that. They might have even said 21 days. My thought was, we're going to be locked down for 90 days, just because it was getting out of control, and I didn't think that the government would be able to control it. So I planned for 90 days, hoping for 30, but planned for 90. I got so much done. Second lockdown, which was, we were open, I think, for 10 days, had to be locked down again. Locked down for, again, about another, I don't know, it was maybe 60 days, something like that. Again, I got so much done. This particular lockdown, well, my daughter's in hospital. I've got some freer time. If she wasn't in hospital, I'd be absolutely cranking things out. I'd be really smashing it. But I'm spending half a day in hospital. So I've had to incorporate that into my plan this time. And it's just, things happen for a reason. And she's in hospital. I do have more time to be able to go in to see her with my schedule, so I can do that. But of course it means that there's a whole bunch of things that I'm not getting done that I otherwise would. I have to just sit at peace with that, because my family is more important in this moment of what's going on for her. So I just have to do that. But I still have a plan for us going beyond this week, this being our second week, going into another week after that, and maybe it's 30 days, maybe it's, like I say, I think it's going to be 30 days, but I've planned for 90, hoping for less than 30, so that we can get back and I can keep serving my clients and so forth. And hopefully my daughter comes out of hospital, that might be today actually, at the time. We should know in about 50 minutes whether she's going to come home today or possibly Thursday this week. So then life will start to look a little bit different in terms of travel and everything. My point is that I've planned for it. I have a document where I've written down all the things that I want to be achieving at any point in time, but I've called it, it started from my COVID 90-day strategy. So I keep adding to it all the time. You've heard me talk about this before. Making sure that I've got a list of those priorities and all the steps that need to be completed for those things that sit under each project, so that there's never a dull moment. Like, there's people at the moment that are mobilised because they don't know what it is that they're supposed to be doing. They're waiting for us to come out of lockdown. They're complaining about it. But instead, what you could be doing is really taking it by the bull by the horns and saying, well, this is what I am going to be doing during this time. I'm going to create my destiny, as opposed to wait for somebody else to make a decision that's going to influence your destiny. Make it on your own. Do it yourself. So I think today, COVID numbers coming out, there'll be a whole heap of people around our state that will be giving a deep sigh and feeling more pain because of the fact that that could mean that we're locked down even longer. And it's tough. Look, it is. And I say do all the planning. That's not to discount the impact that it has on people's mental health. It's not to discount how hard it is to do all the homeschooling and that kind of stuff. I mean, right now, my eldest daughter, she's sitting an exam in our dining room with the camera on her computer so that they can see what she's doing and that no one's helping, she's not cheating and doing all that kind of stuff. It's different. We're living in a different world. But the reality is that this is going to continue for some time yet. And I think what we had here in my home state was some tantalisingly great things happen which allowed us to get a lot of our freedoms back. And like if I use sport as an example, the MCG here, probably the greatest stadium in the world, there was 80,000 people back just at Anzac Day, 25th of April, 80,000 people in the stand. And there was no COVID issues as such then. But now look, we are where we are again. We're locked down, second week, likely to go on for further. People being put further under financial duress. It's really tough for people. It is. It's really tough. But it's a reminder that you've got to keep planning, and not just your business stuff, not just your career, but all the other areas of your life as well. So many people drop the ball during COVID. In terms of their health and wellness, for instance, they stop exercising, they stop eating the right foods. They start to feel worse about the way that they're feeling. They're feeling bloated, they're feeling less energized. Guess what? They're then feeling less focused. It's so easy to do some simple things to completely change the way that you will feel, so that it does make it better for you to plan, easy to plan, and easy to schedule and stick to that plan as well. So here today, it's a horrible weather. Like, we have really strong winds. It's quite cold. We're in winter. How easy is it for people to just say, well, I'm not going to exercise. I'm not going to follow some sort of healthy meal plan. I'm just going to eat, really high energy, heavy, fatty, sugary foods. And it doesn't take too long before people start to feel the effects of those things to their body and feel pretty ordinary. And so therefore they're less likely to do all the things that they want to do, because it weighs them down physically, but it also makes them feel a bit, yuck, I really don't feel like doing exercise. I really don't feel like, doing that work, or, doing that project, or reading that book that's going to grow me, or, do that course that's going to help me feel better, or, grow me and take me to the place that I really want to get to. All of these things are really tightly connected. It's just that a lot of people don't see that they are. I'm getting inquiries through COVID. People, I just got one this morning. Actually, it was at 11:50 last night. They sent it to me. So obviously they're sitting there thinking, man, I've really got to do something about my state of health. And I'm organising a consultation with them in the coming days to see how we can help them during the lockdown, before we can perhaps work with them one-on-one in the studio here. But this is the thing that we can do now with the technology as well. And I set this up during the first lockdown, was this concept of working with people globally. Now I can work with somebody live as they're doing a workout in their own gym. And when I say their own gym, I mean their commercial gym. I can be coaching them through a session. I can be working with somebody doing a session in their home gym. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you've got an internet connection, then we can connect. We can do it. And that came about because of COVID. And now it's easy to just flick that switch and say, bang, okay, well, you want to do that? Fine. We're doing it via Zoom. Here's the link. Bang, let's connect. Let's get this done. The longer this goes on, people that I've been working with said, well, look, if it's only a week, look, maybe I'll have a break this week. I'm reaching out to everybody again this week as we extend further to say, okay, so what's your plan for this week? Are you wanting to do some Zoom sessions? Are you going to do just some sessions on your own at home and wait till we come back? What am I doing? I'm making sure that they have a plan. They have a plan to look after themselves, because everyone I'm working with had created such really fantastic momentum. It's so easy to lose that. It's so easy to get caught up in what's going on around you. And if a good example of that is the Facebook post I did. If you haven't checked it out, go to my Rob Evans Facebook page, and have a look at some of the comments that are coming through on the COVID vaccine post that I did a few days ago. It's going off. I mean, it's like 253 comments or something. It's crazy. And how angry people are that I've had a vaccine, and how stupid I am because of what I've done, and I'm not informed, and etc., etc. And this all comes from people that aren't scientists, and they just think they're informed and I'm not informed. But some of those people are looking for other people to jump on their bandwagon and attack others and criticize others, and it's just such a waste of time. It really is. And I wonder what plan these people have in place to look after themselves. But my point is that negativity breeds more negativity. And if you're sitting around waiting for stuff to happen for you so that you don't have to create a plan to pull yourself out of this, then I think that's a big mistake. You're in a great opportunity to be able to create your own destiny. All it takes is the decision to say, I'm going to create my own destiny, not to wait around for someone else to do it for you and find out how to do it later. Make the decision, you'll find the how. That's how I've done many of the things that I've done in my life. And the success comes through finding the how and implementing and doing consistently. But you've got to start with a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're going to fail. There's nothing wrong with failing, but if you learn from it and you don't just fail over and over again, but we want to make sure we plan to succeed. So at least you've got a plan to start with. And that's what I'm excited about when things like this happen, because there's an opportunity for us to help others grow, help yourself grow, and get way better outcomes than you thought possible for you. It's kind of like nature's way of keeping us in check, keeping us on our toes. Make sure you plan. If you want to connect with me, you can. Go to thementaltoughnessandbodyshow.com, opt in for a free consultation, and I look forward to connecting with you and making 2021 our best years yet. See you tomorrow.